Hey, how's it going guys? It's your boy Meteor Kaiser here, back again with another challenge video. On today's video, we're going to be revisiting something that we did a little bit earlier, as in like basically a year ago at this point. We did a Pokemon Coliseum run where we did not catch any Shadow Pokemon, we just used our Espeon and Umbreon starters. In this one, we're going to be doing Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, but instead we're going to be doing the reverse, in which we are only allowed to use Shadow Pokemon. So this one's definitely going to be a lot harder than the initial one, because the thing about Shadow Pokemon is they cannot level up. So for those of you who are uninformed about this game in general or Shadow Pokemon are basically Pokemon that have had their doors to their hearts completely locked. And so basically the goal of the game is to go around purifying all of the Shadow Pokemon that you catch from other trainers, and it's the only Pokemon game where you can actually take Pokemon from trainers. You have a snag machine to do such a thing, and it'll let you snag the Pokemon, put them on your team, get rid of the door to their heart, and then purify them. However, in this run, we're just going to be using Shadow Pokemon as is. So Shadow Pokemon are super effective against every other type of Pokemon except for Shadow Pokemon, which they're not very effective. And they have unique shadow moves, like Shadow Blitz, which is a 40 base power move, Shadow Wave, which hits both opponents, and it's a special move, Shadow Rave, Shadow Rush, all of their types of moves. So it's a lot more varied than Coliseum is. People are going to yell at me for this. It's a better version of Coliseum, but I don't give a shit. But anyway, simple ground rules. Just, we're not allowed to use any Pokemon that have been purified or that are already purified. The only thing that we can use, of course, is our starting Eevee until we get our Shadow Pokemon, our first Shadow Pokemon, and then we could stop using said Eevee. So we're basically forced to be stuck with the Eevee, and that's just tutorial stuff. So you've got to just accept it. Again, that's pretty much it. I'm allowed to use items as much as I want, and any other thing in the game is fair game, quite literally. And as we're jumping into this, guys, don't forget to check out the description below. It has a link to my Discord and a link to my Twitter. And if you're also interested, go ahead and hit that sub button. It would greatly help. I'm really trying to grow my channel as much as I possibly can, because I really love making these videos for you guys, and I hope you guys feel the same. So thank you so much and enjoy. Without further ado, let's just jump right into the challenge. So the game starts up with our little, like a battle simulation of Salamence versus Metagross. Pretty easy, just earthquake the hell out of it and it's dead. And after that, we're like, oh, we're in the real world. It was all just a simulation. SAO, eat your heart out. But we are introduced to ourselves. Our name is, well, the canon name is Michael. We live in a Pokemon research facility that's focusing on the purification of Pokemon. We live with our mother and our sister. And there's other people around, like Professor Crane, who is the head researcher of the facility. Our first little objective is to go find our missing sister, who's playing hide and go seek at this weird guy's mansion named Dr. Kaminko. We go there and we run into the first main battle of this game and the best character in the game, Chobin. Chobin mistakes us for a thief, so we fight against him and we put our level 10 Eevee up against his level 5 Sunkern. So you already know what's gonna happen. It's a Sunkern. Anyway, with that, we go into the lab. We take our sister back, but not before looking at some useless inventions of Dr. Kaminko's. We head back to the Pokemon research facility place thingy, and we get introduced to the snag machine. And as soon as that happens, right after that, some suspicious looking men, who we might recognize if you've played Coliseum, go ahead and actually just straight up kidnap Professor Crane. But before they can completely take him away, we have our first fight with a Shadow Pokemon. Now this is actually a tutorial also. You literally cannot do anything except catch the Pokemon. You have to catch this Teddiursa, or else that's literally it. You can't attack it, because Crane will be like, throw a Pokeball at it. You can't run away, or, well, you can't run away from these battles, but you know what I mean. You can't kill it. Actually, I wonder if there's like some game breaking way that you can possibly glitch through this. I'm sure there is. But anyway, we capture the Teddiursa. It's got a 100% catch rate, so just throw the ball, catch it, and we're done with that battle. It's not really a battle, to be honest. We defeat Spinaps, but Crane gets taken away. So our mother, who's named Lily, goes ahead and takes over the remainder of the purification project, while everyone else is mourning the quote-unquote loss of Crane. And so basically, we are asked to head to Geishan Port, the next location, to go ahead and look for parts for the purification chamber. While we're there, Jovi bumps into this really mean looking, very stereotypical looking thug named Zook. He's definitely a Chad. But he tries to attack us with a level 28 Zangoose. However, these three older gentlemen protect us by kicking the shit out of it with a level 44 Alakazam. After that's all said and done, we go ahead and get the attention of Per, the grandson of the owner of the part shop. And we basically bring him back and get the parts. So we're essentially done with Geishan Port. All we have to do is return to the lab. And for those of you who actually are going to play this game regularly, there is a captain who's in the part shop before you actually get Per's attention, who will give you one of the evolution stones for your Eevee. Now in this game, the Moonstone will turn it into an Umbreon and the Sunstone will turn it into an Espeon. So you're able to get whatever you want immediately, which is pretty nice. So if you're going that route, of course. However, I'm not, so I don't really care. Anyway, I don't want to leave Geishan Port yet because there are 2 Shadow Pokemon that you can get in this area. The first of the 2 being a Shadow Ladybug, which is off to the right of the map. Now in this fight, I basically use Eevee to just keep chucking balls, and I use Teddiursa to attack because there's really not much else I can do there. The second of which is a Poochyena, who is chilling on the top of the tower to the north of Geishan. I capture both the Ladybug and the Poochyena pretty simply, and I'm able to replace Eevee as the main party member. With that being said and done, we go back, we get the parts back over, and then we hear about the traditional way of purifying Pokemon through Agate Village. We go ahead and meet up with Egon, who is the leader of the village, the chief, I guess. And he basically puts us through a little trial where we go through, we battle a bunch of trainers to open up our Pokemon's heart, and then we are forced to purify one. So I pick a Pokemon to purify, and I don't really have much of a choice here. So I just suck it up and I purify the Teddiursa. Not that big of a deal. We are just forced to use only Poochyena and Ladybug now. In hindsight, I probably should have done the Ladybug because Ladybug sucks, but it is what it is. Our next objective is to head to this area known as Mount Battle, which is very infamous because it's got 100 floors. Thank God we only have to go through 3 right now in order to reach Vander, the area leader, because Egan has a message for him. And oh man, so the first one was pretty good, but the second fight where I had to fight against a Corphish and a Swablu, why did it take me so long? Holy crap. Another thing I have not mentioned quite yet, we'll mention more stuff as we go through. Shadow Pokemon in this game go into a mode called Reverse Mode, which has a random chance to proc, and basically it's like using a move of recoil every turn, like using takedown every turn or something. It'll basically make your Pokemon hurt at the end of the turn, and it'll provide a 1 in 4 chance of you missing any non-shadow moves. So each Pokemon that you get will have between 2 to 4 shadow moves, and then 1 to 2 normal moves, I guess, if you want to go that way. So for example, Poochyena has Shadow Blitz, Shadow Hold, Poison Fang, and Howl. But Poison Fang will miss every 1 in 4 because of Reverse Mode, which is super annoying, I know. But yeah, again, like there's other shadow moves that aren't attacking, like Shadow Hold, but that's not very useful because it's the same thing as Mean Look. Like Shadow Mist is like lowering enemies' evasiveness, so it's not too useful. I'd rather increase my own evasiveness than lower theirs. But we barely make it through all of these fights, because right now our Ladybug and our Poochyena are just level 10. We can't level them up, ever. We just have to keep trading out Pokemon as we go. But we get done with that, we head back to Agate Village, and we learn about the Cypher Lab. This is actually where Professor Crane is being held. That's what our boy Vander has told us. And so we basically head over there, and we run into a lot of people's favorite characters. These are a group of Cypher peons. So Cypher is the group, the evil group in this game, right? They're the same thing in Colosseum, and they're back in this game. They made a revival. The lab was also a location in the original as well. But these guys are hilarious. They are the only ones that have different colored sprites. They are a group of 6 brothers, all named by the color of their outfit. So there's Perp 6, Green 6, Yellow 6, Red 6, Brown 6, and Blue 6. I think I got them all. But each of these guys has a level 17 Shadow Pokemon. I go ahead and try out Green 6 first. Bad idea, because he has like 6 Pokemon and I have 2 Pokemon, so I have to use a lot of potions. However, once I finally get to the end, I'm able to capture his C-Dot, level 17 C-Dot, and I'm able to use that level 17 C-Dot to deal with the rest of everyone else. And so in order, it's a Spheal from the blue guy, a Houndour from the red guy, a Gulpin from the purple guy, a Mareep from the yellow guy, a Baltoy from the brown guy. I think that's it. But yeah, the color of their outfit represents the typing, like purple is poison, brown is ground, you know, things like that. But their teams aren't too bad. It's just the shadow Pokemon which are hard to deal with. But they're all level 17, so you should have a full team of level 17s now, which is pretty nice. And after that, we're able to go into the facility. The gimmick of this game is there's going to be a lot of Cypher peons that just jump down on you. So there won't be anyone in there specifically. It will be mainly just Cypher peons jumping from the sky. However, there will also be regular scientists that will attack you, so just be careful. The next Shadowmon we run into is a level 14 Spinnerack. I don't end up using it at all. Next is a 14 Numal, which I don't use either. We won't fight against another one for quite a while until we hit that Carvana towards the end of the sort of Cypher area. And the last Shadow Pokemon before we reach the very end is a level 15 Shroomish after that Carvana. But anyway, the Pokemon are between like level 17 and 14-ish around that area. You're still over leveled for these guys, which is great. But still, I'd recommend heading back towards the beginning of the area in between every fight, because there is a healing machine that you can use there. Because you don't want to be using too many potions if you don't have to, because money is very limited in this game. So you want to be spending more of your money on Pokeballs to capture all of the Shadow Pokemon rather than on potions. But again, it doesn't matter if any of your team members die, as long as they don't all die. Because obviously they're not going to level up, so who cares? Towards the very, very end, we reach where Crane is being held. And he's actually being held by the same guy that we fought against at the very beginning. The one that had the Teddiursa, Spy Naps. His team is full of level 18s. The only scary ones there is the Rhyhorn, because he's just got a Rhyhorn, a Slackoth, a Murkrow, and a Beldum. His team isn't that scary, though you probably might lose a Pokemon or two, like I lost my Gulpin, but just keep at it, keep Shadow Blitzing, and you'll be good eventually. The one thing to mention though is you're probably going to want to use a stab move more than you will your shadow move. So for example, it's probably better to use Thundershock with Mareep than it is to use Shadow Blitz. Not only is it because Mareep is physically not that good, I'm not sure how it works in this game, to be honest. I think shadow moves are split, so I think they do have the physical special split between shadow moves. So if Shadow Wave is special, Shadow Blitz is physical, I believe. Now do not quote me on that. But anyway, we're able to secure Professor Crane and we had to leave the facility. But just as we're about to leave, we run into our first real boss fight against the first Cypher admin of this game, Lovrina. I had a couple of attempts with her, only for one reason. My game crashed, man. It was so unfortunate. But this is a pretty hard fight to deal with, to be honest. She's rocking level 20s and 19s, while your teams are 17. So she starts out with a Love Disc and a Beautifly. So what I do is I lead with my Mareep and my Spheal. My Mareep is there for Thundershock and Thunder Wave, mainly Thunder Wave, so I can paralyze these guys. Beautifly and Love Disc are both weak to Mareep. I kept Spheal along because Spheal is very bulky. With 55 HP, it's not going to die anytime soon. The biggest pain in the ass here is when she brings out her Roselia, which has Leech Seed. So you just want to take that thing down as quick as possible. It's weird, I bring out my Baltoy for it because I know it can still use like Mega Drain and Absorb. However, Baltoy has Psybeam, which does a lot to the Roselia. So I use my Baltoy for a bit, my Baltoy dies, my Mareep's still in the game, and I bring out Houndour. I take care of the Beautifly, and it's down to just Roselia and her Shadow Pokemon, a level 18 Delcatty. Now, Delcatties aren't normally that scary, however, this is the first evolved Shadow Pokemon, and it has Shadow Rush, which is 10 base power higher than Shadow Blitz. So it's a little bit scarier, however, Shadow Pokemon are the threat here. Because again, Shadow Pokemon are not very effective against Shadow Pokemon. So I'll like never have that issue. So essentially I'm able to leave this Delcatty for the last thing. And so I just spam balls while I have her paralyzed. And we are able to beat Lovrina. And we're able to take Professor Crane back to his house. The information of us saving Professor Crane has been plastered all over the news. By the time we even get back home, Lily has completed the purification chamber. Now thankfully we don't actually have to purify any of our Pokemon, we just have to pretend to. We just put them in the chamber and then we leave it. So it's going to work the same way as the purification at Algate Village does, except you need several regular, already purified Pokemon to help purify another Pokemon. But if you want the details of how to purify a Pokemon, this isn't the place to look for it, because I'm not doing that this playthrough. So actually before we left the Cypher Lab, we picked up this data ROM that Lovrina dropped. And now Crane wants us to take the data ROM over to Pyrite Town to get it analyzed by someone who's a little bit better with that stuff. So we have to go to the ONBS news studio in order to get it looked at. So Pyrite Town has probably the best music in the entire game. That is just, it's so catchy. However, in this area, there are no Shadow Pokemon for us to deal with, so we don't have to fight any of the trainers, which I don't. To be honest, getting the money would have probably been decent, but not necessary. Anyway, we head on over to the ONBS building, in which we basically got to head to the roof. But as we're going there, we're nice people, right? We find this girl who's lost her mom, and we bring her back to her mom. Like, good people. Yay. Happy ending. But anyway, after that, we head to the roof, in which we have to meet up with Net, who is very good with this type of thing. I mean, his name's Net. So we give the data ROM over to Net to analyze. And the funny thing is, these guys here, Net, Bit, and the others, Sek, who's in the lower floors, and Meg, who's at the desk, were all members of the underground in the first game. The kids at the radio station or whatever. Basically, he tells us while we're not doing anything, waiting for the data ROM to get analyzed, to head over to these Pokespots. Pokespots are basically the only form of wild Pokemon in this game, in which Duking, the kind of leader of Pyrite Town, has sort of discovered. And so he's basically like, hey, do this tutorial where you put the stacks on the spot, you wait for this Poke Radar to sort of notify you that something's there, and then you head back and see what it is. There are rare Pokemon which he will trade for some of his own. Some of the rare Pokemon like Trapinch, Wooper. So if you want like a Flygon, it's a good place to get a Flygon. However, I can't, because I'm only allowed to use Shadow Pokemon, which is unfortunate, because I would have loved to take a wild Pokemon. We're looking through all of the Pokespots, and once we reach the cave Pokespot, we run into Trudley, Folly, and then their boss, Mirror B. Mirror B, that is my boy. Mirror B was an admin of Cypher in the last game, but he got kicked out, as did pretty much everyone. But he came back in this game as a traveling Pokemon snatcher, I guess. Now his gimmick is he will basically have a shadow Pokemon. If you've missed any shadow Pokemon in this game, if you see him appearing at a spot, there'll be a Mirror B radar, and this item will basically let you find him at one of the Pokespots or like a Coliseum or something, and he'll have one of the shadow Pokemon that you have missed. But if you catch them all on the first try, you're good. Anyway, let's actually jump into his fight, which his music is kick-ass, but he has a very, very annoying team. He has a team of Lombres, level 17 Lombres, which by themselves aren't awful. However, they have Rain Dance along with like Mega Drain, so it just makes for a pain in the ass combo. Delcatty is basically going to be our chief damage dealer for a little while, so I basically try and keep Delcatty alive regardless. After defeating his 3 Lombres though, we run into his shadow Pokemon, a Shadow Voltorb, level 19, which also has the move Shadow Rush. So it's very important to catch this, because if you don't, I think you'll lose the challenges then and there. So after catching that, we head back to ONBS, and we learn that it's actually being attacked by Cypher as we speak. So we want to go ahead and check in on Net and Bit and make sure they're safe. But again, it's been taking over, so there's going to be a lot of enemies throughout here. So just be careful. Good thing is there is a healing center halfway up, and if you need to heal, you can go either to the hotel or you can go to the Coliseum, and the Coliseum has a healing area, which is free. So you're going to see these a lot. You're going to see a lot of Voltorb and a lot of Delcatty, because those two are my strongest guys for now. I've subbed out C-Dot for the Delcatty, and I subbed out Mareep for the Voltorb, because I don't need 2 electric types. So some of the shadow Pokemon that we'll run into here are a level 18 Makuhita, a level 18 Vulpix, a level 19 Duskull, and a level 20 Ralts when we hit the roof. All of these guys are pretty decent, but I replace Duskull. Well, I don't actually replace anything quite yet, not until I'm done with the ONBS, but I will be replacing a couple of my team members. All of the grunts, though, are pretty easy to deal with, especially as we got Delcatty and Voltorb. The real problem is when we actually hit the room which Net and Bit are in which we run into Commander Exel. He is the only Cypher commander in the game. Everyone else is either a peon or an admin or in research and development. But he has a very, very, very scary team. He opens up with a Girafarig and a Loudred, and they are both level 23. Now, just a reminder, my entire team are level 17, my Delcatty is 18, and my Voltorb is 19. So we have to use a little bit of cheese to get through these fights. So first thing I do is I make sure to paralyze and attract the Loudred, and I basically don't touch the Loudred for the rest of the fight. I just focus on the Girafarig as much as I can. Out next, he actually pops up his Mawile, which is his shadow Pokemon. Level 22, again also knows Shadow Rush. Shadow Rush is pretty scary, and this Mawile is good. But again, shadow Pokemon are not a problem. You just gotta make sure you have enough balls to catch them. I actually just throw a gray ball and I catch it immediately. So, Mawile is easy. After we actually capture that Mawile, out comes his Raichu, which is, he's terrifying. Shockwave is awful, so I'm scared. Delcatty gets killed, so I end up reviving and potioning double on both turns while I have my Makuhita and my Ralt sitting in my party. Because of fully reviving the Delcatty, I'm able to get through and defeat Exol. After that, we're told to look into Phoenix City, which is the next location, and something weird's going on here. Everything just seems out of place. The music is weird for Phoenix. I remember playing this as a kid. I'm like, this isn't the Phoenix I remember from Colosseum. So everything just seems kind of out of place. So we were asked to head over to the mayor's house to let him know of Cypher's plans. However, we're a little late. We actually have to head over to this house on the right, which has this old CD, and we're not allowed to get into the mayor's office until we distract the girl who's watching over the mayor's office with the CD. When we go upstairs and we find out what's happened to the city, the girl from downstairs reveals herself to be a Cypher peon. The Cypher peons are completely replacing members of society in the city and placing them all underground in Justy's gym, which is the pre-gym in the middle of the city. So it's just terrifying. So with peons, you know, that means more shadow Pokemon. So the shadow Pokemon that we can get in Phoenix City are a Snorunt from this girl, a Pineco from the trainer that actually is downstairs, comes in after, a Natu, a Roselia, and a Meowth from the gym area. And then once we've sort of cleared out the gym, we figure out that we have to go to the Colosseum itself to get the key for where everyone's being held captive. So we have to go up north, and we run into our other shadow Pokemon, a Swinub, a Spearow, a Grimer, and a Seal. Now these shadow Pokemon are between the levels of 20 and 23. 20 being the Pineco and the Snorunt, and 23 being the Grimer and the Seal. Now none of these trainers really give me a huge amount of problems. A lot of these Pokemon are not that strong, but there's like Stantlers, Pelipper's, just more difficult mons that I'm used to. And again, my best Pokemon by this point is now Mawile, because Mawile is just, it's level 22. It's good enough. Everything else kind of sucks. So I'm using basically just Mawile and Voltorb. I have other Pokemon along with me, but they're not really doing much. The Grimer's pretty useful, to be honest. Anyway, after we have cleared out every Cypher member, there is our next Cypher admin Snaddle. Snaddle is currently trying to stop these two reporters from Pirate Town from spreading any news about what's happening here, to keep it under wraps. And so we're basically there to stop that and to defeat Snaddle to get the key to go back and free everyone. Snaddle has a pretty terrifying team himself though. Snaddle's teams are all level 26. He starts out with a Lantern and a Quagsire. Lantern is probably the least threatening of its Pokemon, so I go ahead and focus down that Quagsire. And I didn't even know this. I had Shadow Panic on my Voltorb, which is basically Confusion, but with two Pokemon. And it's kind of nice. I didn't realize that. But yeah, don't even worry about the Lantern for now. He's not that big of a threat. After focus firing the Quagsire, out next comes Lunatone, his Shadow Pokemon. Normally Lunatone would be pretty scary because it has a move called Shadow Sky. Shadow Sky is the terrain move of Shadow Pokemon, and it'll deal damage to non-Shadow Pokemon for up to 5 turns. It's not too bad for us, of course, because it'll only affect his team. While I let the Lunatone live to the end, I go ahead and focus on his other Pokemon. So I defeat the Lantern with the help of Roselia and Delcatty. Roselia is very useful to our team. Coming with Grass Whistle and Leech Seed, it's pretty nice. However, very frail. So just keep that in mind as you're using Roselia. After we defeat the Lantern, out comes Castform. Not too bad. Last comes a level 28 Metang, which is pretty... Metang is nothing to joke about. Metal Claw is pretty scary. However, Mawile we have revived, and we pretty much spam revived as much as we could. And now all we have to do is capture the Lunatone. And after that, we're good. We defeated a Snaddle, and we're able to move on to our next part of the game. The people who are recording the footage show us now as a hero in the news, which is awesome. We see Snaddle running like a little baby. We free everyone, and we head back to ONBS, and we learn about this sunken ship in the middle of the desert. And that could be what we saw at the very, very beginning of the game, the SS Libra, which is basically mysteriously transported. That was big at the beginning of the game, but I completely forgot about that. So anyway, we have to go back to the part shop to get parts for our scooter, because our scooter cannot cross the desert because it gets stuck in the sand. So we're basically trying to turn it into a hover scooter, which I guess is the future. But we head back to the part shop, and it turns out we need the grandfather of Per, Makan, but Makan is in Dr. Kaminko's place. And of course, as we're heading there, Chobin, the dumbass he is, completely forgets about our existence, thinks we're trying to steal again. And so we beat his ass again. This time his team is a little scarier. He has a Gyarados, along with his Sunkern. But his Sunkern still hasn't evolved. Not that bad. Just deal with the Gyarados. Don't worry about the Sunkern. However, probably the coolest part of this game is Dr. Kaminko comes out. He thinks we're a thief as well. And so he's like, let me test my new invention, Robo Groudon. So Chobin climbs in this robotic Groudon looking outfit and fights against us using boss battle music. Like he's a Cypher admin or something. Anyway, his team is a lot scarier this time. Something happened, I guess, so he evolved his Sunkern into a Sunflora. He's still got his scary Gyarados. And his other two are a Hoppip and a Tropius. The Tropius is pretty annoying. The Hoppip isn't that bad, though. So, I'm able to get through the fight pretty easily. I do lose my Lunatone. However, I just swap over to Grimer and I'm able to deal with him. So, not too bad. Anyway, he's finally realized who we are. We head into the mansion. We get Machon. We head back to the parts shop. They fix up our scooter. And now we're able to head over to the SS Libra. Now, the SS Libra has a lot of items in it and a lot of puzzles. So, it's not, none of these are complicated puzzles, though. It's a children's game, bro. You're good. But anyway, once we reach about the midpoint of the ship, we run into who's going to be the next Cypher admin, Gorgon, and his grunts. The teams are getting scary and scary, and I'm like, where are the shadow Pokemon? Where are the shadow Pokemon? Oh god, oh god, oh god. But he has level 27 Huntail, level 27 Cacnea, 27 Coughing, and 27 Teddiursa. So his team isn't scary, it's just scary how high in levels they're getting. Anyway, there's this guy that's been living out there, so he lets us sleep in there for a while. We head out through the rest of this area. We're also been tasked by, when we were told to go to the SS Libra, there was an old man and his granddaughter there, basically like, hey, your Pokemon's missing, and that Pokemon was Bonsly. Now, Bonsly is a Gen 4 Mon. So, obviously, when I first played this game, I'm like, what the fuck is a Bonsly? And then I'm like, oh my god, new Pokemon. They did that same shit with like Lucario and stuff, where they introduced a lot of Gen 4 Mons. Same with Munchlax. Munchlax is in this game as well. So it's just very cool as a kid to sort of get to see these Gen 4 Mons before Diamond and Pearl even came out. Anyway, as we're about to head out of the ship, we actually get knocked unconscious by, again, you might recognize him from the first game, Team Snag'em. Team Snag'em knocks us out with a Gloom with Sleep Powder, and they take our Snag Machine from us. Team Snag'em basically wants to make a bounce back. They want to make a comeback. They've done with dealing with Cypher. They want to be their own team, but they need a Snag Machine to do so. So they take our Snag Machine, as they've heard the rumors, and we're like, oh shit, we don't have a Snag Machine anymore. So we heal up again in that mechanic's place, and we head over to the Cypher Key Lair, as we were told about this Cypher area by this guy. So we head there, and guess who shows up but Zook from the beginning of the game. And so he has a Shadow Zangoose, but my dumb ass forgot, oh, I don't have a Snag Machine, so I have to kill it. And his Pokemon are level 28, so I'm just like, oh god, this is getting worse, this is getting worse. My strongest Mon is level 25, and then the second strongest is 23. And my weakest is a 22, so I'm just like, oh shit, man, this is gonna be awful. But we're able to barely make it through the fight, even with his scary team of Seviper, Zangoose, Carvana, Doduo, and Renlincanth. And I mean barely make it through, holy crap, I almost died. I had just my Lunatone left at the end, and I revive spam him alive, so. After that, we head back to ONBS, and we have to talk to Sek, who is on the second floor, and basically tells us about this researcher who escaped the key layer out in the outskirts stand. And while we're there, I guess we run into again, but Mirror B. And again, Mirror B is the same situation. He has a Shadow Pokemon again, which is a Shadow Nose Pass. However, we can't catch it because no Snag Machine. So we have to beat the shit out of his team, which again, very hard to do because he has Ludicolo's now. So yeah, not a fun experience. Anyway, we talked to this guy, and he has a Shadow Togepi, which is, it's level 25, and it has Shadow Rave, which is like a base 65 or base 50 or something move that hits buff Pokemon. So it's a strong move for a weak-ass Pokemon. I wish it was a Togetic, man. Anyway, as we're heading out, we actually fight against Rider Wiley, Rider Willy, who is the first guy we fought against in the original game. And he legit has his own theme music, which is weird because he has a default sprite. But he just has Linoons and Zigzagoons, so pretty easy fight, even though I'm almost dead from fighting against Mirror B. After that, the scientist actually tells us about Eklo Canyon, where the base of Team Snag'em is. So we head over to such a place. Oh man, here we go. Oh boy. So I'm making my way through. Nothing too bad, right? None of these guys have any Shadow Pokemon, but their teams are just kind of annoying, like Golbats, a lot of Oddishes, Dustox, those types of Pokemon. And I'm able to defeat them barely, and I just have to heal in between each fight. so it's not too big of a deal. The Pokemon are like hitting level 26, 27, a couple of 30s here and there. There's even a level 32 Crawdont that pops up. I'm just like, okay, not a good sign. When we make our way to the very, very, very roof, where we meet the Team Snag'em leader, we also meet the guy that actually knocked us unconscious. The guy with the glasses walk in. It's funny. One of the Team Snag'em members is named Biden, which is just funny to me. But anyway, oh my lord, his team is no fun, no fun, no fun. So this man walk-in starts off with 2 Glooms, which is scary in its own right. They're level 28, and Lunatone is rock. So just remember, Mega Drain will just destroy Lunatone, and Lunatone's like my strongest guy. So I do a little trolling right now, okay? I minimize the shit out of my Grimer. Grimer has minimized, and I'm gonna use it. But yeah, Giga Drain is no fun, is it? It can bring down my Lunatone like instantly. Next out is a Mantine, which is terrifying as well, and actually manages to hit my Grimer. And so basically I'm forced to revive spam. I'm basically revive spamming my Mawile and my Roselia. I'm trying to Leech Seed as best as I can. And the last 2 Pokemon that pop out are a Fortress and a Grumpig, and they are level 31 and 32. I don't know how I do it, but I barely make it through, and I barely beat Walk-in. And then after that, we're forced to fight against Gonzap immediately. So, as you'd think, I get destroyed, right? Because I don't have any, I literally only have my Grimer and my Mawile alive. So I'm just like, alright, I'll heal up, I'll come back, I'll buy a few items, I'll get ready for the fight. I have awful news, guys. Very, very bad news. This is actually the run killer, unfortunately. Gonzap, he starts off with a level 30 Electrode and a 32 Nuzleaf. The Nuzleaf will guaranteed fake out 1 Pokemon at the beginning of the turn, so that means the other one's going to get screwed over by the Electrode. He also has Feint Attack, so the minimize strategy won't work because Feint Attack hits guaranteed. The Electrode is fast as hell, and it's just super scary. It's like I'm able to defeat the Electrode by using I have to throw my whole team at the Electrode basically, because Spark is scary for my level 30. And remember, my strongest Mon is a 25. Everything he has is between 30 and 32. The level difference is just too much, man. I even try with like Togepi getting stat increases by using Ancient Power. The other thing that's also awful is his team, every single Pokemon except his Electrode knows Hyper Beam. Yeah, Hyper Beam's like 120 base power. It is so terrifying. I cannot get past his Vileplume and Nuzleaf. No matter how hard I have tried, I committed several times to fighting against this guy. But every single time I get demolished. So I'm just like, okay. So even after trying as many times as I possibly could, I could not figure out a way to possibly beat Gonzap with the party that I have. Even if I swapped up my members, like I tried using Spearow, I tried using Seal, I tried whatever I could from my box, but it just would not work. So I'm just like, okay, alright, it is what it is, man. This happens. This isn't the first challenge I've lost. Hopefully I won't have too many like this, but you've got to lose some. You can't win them all. I've got to take an L here and there. So again, guys, it is what it is, man. If any of you can figure out some way to beat Gonzap using only Shadow, like without purifying anything, feel free to let me know, because I cannot think of anything. But anyway, guys, I do appreciate you watching though. Thank you so much. My name has been Meteor Kaiser, and I will catch you all in the next challenge. Hopefully, it's one that we actually complete. But I still hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one. Peace.